Greetings, community, and welcome to Entropy and Comics and another edition of Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for New Comic Book Day 2/12/2025. And here we are once again, and it's great to be alive. And to those of you who cruise on in on the rewind, I greatly appreciate you doing so. That you would only be half as fun. Let's jump right into the first publisher, and we'll start with IDW. IDW Publishing is going to give us Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation issue number 4. You know what I've really been enjoying is initially when these independent ones were coming out of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we had essentially 3 different titles coming out at one point, and now we're down to 2. It seemed like in no way were they connected, and now here we are that they're all interlinked, all interconnected, and so good. I'm really enjoying how these stories are being told and the world in which that they're telling it. It's not only now so much more expansive than it was before, but it seems so much more grittier, and it just feels so much heavier. I've really been enjoying not only the story, but obviously the artist has been really depicting everything that's been transpiring in the story, and it's been leaving me with just that much more of a taste to want to go ahead and grab the next read. So TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation issue number 4 coming out on 2/12/2025. Let's move out from that and cruise over to the Marvel, and Marvel is going to give us all new Venom issue number 3. We're getting closer, people. We are getting so much closer to know the identity. I think most of us already do. However, that being stated, we're not, I think, going to find out until, I think it's issue number 5, if I recall. And there we're going to go ahead and not only get a standard cover, we're going to get 3 covers that will give us a suspect A, B, and then C. And then that'll also give us the spoiler reveal, which more likely would be a hot cover in and of itself, giving us the identity of the actual all-new Venom. Hey, Christina, I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you hanging out and dancing with me. Moving on from the all-new Venom issue number 3 to talk about Amazing Spider-Man issue number 67. Here we are with the 8 deaths of Spider-Man, and it's been really, really good. I've been not only enjoying the issue from issue number 61, taking on the new, 3 writers at this point onto the mantle of this one particular storyline, but it's been really working out rather well, not only seamlessly from each individual writer, but it's also been working out as a great story in and of itself. I don't know how these 3 got together and did this story in the sense of being to work all the kinks out, who's going to take over at what issue and all that, but they've been doing a great job. I've been enjoying it. Got up to issue 65 so far, ready to read issue 66, and I can't wait to get into issue 67. Moving on from Amazing Spider-Man issue number 67, let's talk about One World Under Doom. Issue number 1 of 9. Now, this starts off the whole Doom event coming on, and it's going to give us, quite a few tie-ins. I think my last count I had, I think it was 5. That being stated, 2 which I'm definitely grabbing. This one I had to get. I think these Doomosaurs are really cool. I mean, how often do you see a Tyrannosaur carrying a gun, a pistol? That's wild. Anyways, I can't wait not only to get into this and check out the read, but yes, it's going to be an event that I'm looking forward to for some, I want to say about 4, maybe 5 months. I've been talking about this event for at least 3 months, and there's 2 other events coming up down the road that I'm not only looking forward to, but I've also been talking about. The Ultimates event is not only ongoing, but it's going to come to essentially some type of climax event coming out into around November, December, which works out towards the end of the year anyways. And then we're also going to get another event, which will be, if I recall, a symbiotic event happening later in the summer. So I'm not only just touching on all these future things, but here we are, the one that I've been talking about for a while, and it's the One World Under Doom, issue number 1. We finally get some stories bringing back some of the characters in which that I missed for quite some time, which are like Strange Academy characters and other characters who I haven't seen quite some time that I know is going to have an impact not only on this Doom event, but how we're not only going to view Doom in this event, because he's not only going to be a villain, but an anti-villain, an anti-hero, and all this other stuff, but we're going to see it kind of weave in ways in which that it's not only going to benefit the Marvel Universe, but it's also going to put everyone in jeopardy. So I'm looking forward to getting into this, which starts it all. Moving out from that, hey Agu, I hope you and yours are doing well. From One World Under Doom, issue number 1 of 9, let's talk about Spider-Boy, issue number 16. For those of you that are probably dropping your jaw and it not being the Blue Light special this week, well, it was pretty close. However, there were so many more books out there. I mean, I think One World Under Doom possibly almost beat it out in its of itself. But no, Spider-Boy issue number 16 is a highly anticipated read for me. This actually brings us to the climax ending of the event that we've been playing with for the past 4 issues with Spider-Boy and Spider-Girl. She's been kicking his ass. It's hard to believe that this individual has any weakness, but it was actually revealed. Also, it was revealed to me a hint at how this was going to be when I met Dan Slott many months ago. But also what he was talking to me about is how issue number 17 was not only going to give us some new characters, but also bring us into a whole new event going on with Spider-Boy himself also. So I'm not only looking forward to reading issue number 16 because it finishes out a 4-issue series that's been going on with him getting his butt kicked by Spider-Girl, but it also brings us that much closer to a whole new event that's going to be going on with Spider-Boy and himself. So I just, can't wait to get my hands on it. I'm just saying. So Marvel, you did it again. You kind of filled it this week and you broke me. I'm just saying. So moving up from the Marvel and cruising over to Image, and let's talk about Pharaoh issue number 10. Tony Fleecs has not only been killing it with this thing, but he's been doing so well with it that it's been really playing with my emotions heavily. It's really been getting me angry. It's been putting me inside of just like in a corner reading, out of fear and anticipation. There's been so much going on in this series that, Tony's really doing not only a marvelous job in the writing, but the way it's being drawn. Again, it's a very synonymous with how the whole Stray Dog stuff was being drawn and depicted and the storyline was going, but the tempo and the beat is quite different. And the fact that we get these characters that we know are ongoing, or at times seeing that it's going really quick, some of these main characters are getting taken out rather quickly, but we're also seeing how fragile, everyone is in this storyline, how easily people are either broken, or how these animals are starting to come to the realization that at any moment anything can go wrong. It kind of goes to essentially kind of in an environment we kind of live in now, only if we look at life in that way. It also does allow you to take in the moments to be able to appreciate and understand that when individuals are trying to help, they're doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. When there are helping hands, and you get a lot of that in the story. However, it's so shrouded in the realities that are going on surrounding these characters that more times than not, you're just on your edge, and it's just a great series. If you're not reading Feral, if you're finding difficulties reading something that's getting you captivated, I highly recommend something like Feral. It's just been a wonderful series, and it's just, makes you very, very much anticipating the next read. Speaking of which, moving out from Feral, issue number 10, coming out on 2/12/2025. Let's talk about Geiger, issue number 11. This is another storyline that's really been awesome, and it does essentially the same thing. Completely different writer, but it does in its own way, its own timing, its own pattern, and its own feel, kind of do some of the same things. It does captivate you. It does suck you into the storyline. It is a post-apocalyptic style story, but it does deal with individuals as opposed to dealing with cats. It also takes you into a world none of us want to really live in. And in issue number 10, which was a big seller, and I know that they're talking about coming out with a second print, I think it's happening, but issue number 10 just sold out on all the stories surrounding me because we had the first appearance of the glowing woman. I really been not only enjoying the series as a whole, but they get bringing back characters and they're integrating them from what the series initially started from. So we got Junkyard Joe, who made his appearance in issue number 10. We end up, like I said, that a first appearance of the glowing woman. We do know that there are other things that we've been talking about that are linked, that we never knew how it was linked, but we already have the made mention of Redcoat and so many things. So we're finally getting these webbed out interconnections finally touching one another, and it's just been such an enjoyable read that, yes, every time it comes out, it's one of my first, it's definitely on the top of my most anticipated reads. Almost got it this week too. However, moving out from Geiger issue number 11, let's talk about the Lucky Devils issue number 2. I know I am one of those individuals that missed out on that whole 8 billion genies, but I did end up reading this. It does make me feel like I definitely missed out on reading 8 billion genies, but I'm reading this. What is this? The Lucky Devils is not only an enjoyable series, but it does show you how easily individuals can not only be swayed, but persuaded, and in some degree, depending on their mentality, easily just roped into a cult. Lucky Devils is not only a fun way to go ahead and poke at what is not only transpiring now, but it also shows you how on point and how much on pulse this writer is, and how well he's able to tell a story in which that most people want to read, even though, well, it touches on such sensitive subjects, when indirectly it's doing so, and symbolically it's just magnificent. So the Lucky Devils issue number 2 coming out tomorrow is not only a highly recommended series by me, but it was also another one that was really close to being on my most anticipated reads. However, it was also squeezed out by the Transformers issue number 17. This actually jumped up on the top of the pile this week. It was almost one of my most anticipated reads, sheer out of the reason that this has been accelerating to a point that I can't believe. Not only they're introducing characters that I not only had no clue who these characters are, but every time they introduce characters, either more characters get blown away or get severely injured. Transformers is brutal and enjoyable as hell. So it's just one of those series that I know that down the road is never going to be one of those things I'll ever even consider to actually, remove from the list of my reading pile. But it just keeps seemingly jumping higher and higher on my most anticipated reads. Just saying. However, 4/2/12/2025, my blue light special is for this week, Bug Wars, issue number 1. Now, initially, this wasn't even on my radar. Let me start over. It was on the radar, but I wasn't going to pick it up. I really wasn't. I made mention, I have to knock some things off the list. This was one I was making a consideration of not even putting on the list. Then I end up finding out that 1, I believe it's a 6-issue mini, and 2, I could have swore I used to see a cartoon or something like this, something similar. And it just, after flipping through the pages and then being told by my shop, 1 per customer only, well, a little FOMO crept in, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, I'm here I am. I really did jump into the art. The art is really cool. It's manageable in the sense that it's not overly done by the art, so you're overly preoccupied by just looking at the art and not reading into the overall storyline. The storyline isn't so saturated in storyline, trying to bring you into a heavy setup. It's actually, everything in the book is rather kind of kinetic, and I'm going to be using that more times than not down the road for other descriptions, because I do see some things coming up that are also going to be moving in that direction. But this thing is constantly moving. The pictures are constantly moving. Because Spider-Man issue #1 coming out is going to be the same way. I already read it. The reading is constantly moving. It's just and seemingly at a pace that you're always keeping up. Bug Wars, even though I didn't read it, it is one of my most anticipated reads just for the sheer conversation that I was having, not only with individuals that was at the shop and its anticipation for them to read, but the fact that as I was just flipping through, not trying to read much, I end up seeing that, yeah, this is just one of those books that I'm glad I didn't miss. I'm glad I ended up picking up. And also, if you're looking for a good read, from what I've seen, from what little individuals were talking about it, kind of recommend it. So, hey, on to 12/2025. I'd like to say thank you. I cruised in on the live. Christina, Agu, and to any of those that cruised in on the rewind, I appreciate you too. Everyone, you stay well, and that's it for me. Entropy. Take care.